is your main event. Mark's podcast brought to you by the Unhinged Sports Network and Belly Up Sports Network. I am your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, and cat dad, Troy. And with me, as always, is the WWE Walking Wrestling Encyclopedia and the main event collector. He's the Alex Shelley to my Austin Star. He's Greg. What's up, Greg?
What's up? Finally, I get the better of the two.
Well, I'm from Ohio, so I got to go with the Austin Star.
You can have them.
I've always been a mark for you, and I used to be huge marks for Austin Aries, and then you kind of dropped off after a while.
Yeah.
What was the first time when you were starting to be like, I might not like this guy anymore?
His later run in the Cruiserweight division.
Yeah. It's like I
don't judge anybody off what they say on Twitter. Okay, that's personal. But when he's calling his own fans like names and talking crap about them, saying if you eat meat, you're not a fan of mine, all that crap. I'm like, screw it, I like you then.
Did he actually say if you eat meat, you're not my wow?
Mm-hmm.
That's freaking hardcore, bro. You don't hear Daniel Bryan's like, if you have ever littered in your entire life, you should die. That's the real Captain Planet, by the way, is Bryan Danielson. Just putting that out there.
Also, not like a confirmed a-hole either, so there's that. Again, personal life, I don't care. That's your business, but, you know.
Yeah. It's kind of like those actors where it's like, I know, like, I've heard enough about you and enough people have confirmed that you're a complete piece of garbage, but I really like your movies. So I'll keep watching. Yeah. But, yeah, Austin Star, a.k.a. Austin Aries, is on this card today that we're talking about. We're going back to 2006 yet again.
Austin Star, by the way.
Exactly.
And I just, I'm 10 years old when I just realized why V was the thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know why. I guess I didn't know he was from Ohio.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is he's like, he's not even from anywhere around here. He's from Wisconsin. So, I don't know. But either way, we're talking about Genesis 2006 today. So we're going back to TNA in 2006. We just covered Bound for Glory 2006, which was in October. This is in November. Quite a few things changed between then and now.
I'm just going to say this, too. It's kind of rare. No, actually not rare, but like few and far between when you get back-to-back good TNA pay-per-views. Not to spoil the end. But
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I saw some of the. Sometimes I wait until the very end to look at any ratings because I don't want them possibly, like subconsciously tainting my view. Good, bad, or indifferent. But this time I looked at the ratings while I was taking notes and I was still watching the show, and I'm like, wow, like people really like they didn't crap on the show, but they didn't give it good ratings. I'm like, why is that? And I was like, well, this might not be great. And I watched it and I'm like, why did everybody dislike this? I don't get it.
I forgot how much I actually did like it. Now, I will say this. Looking at the card going in, I was like, well, I forget. This might be good or bad. I don't know. But it turned out to be pretty good, I thought.
A couple of the matches were like, what the hell is going on here? But
yeah. Well, the opening one, which we've already talked about off air, which we'll get to, was like, yep, my ass is in the seat for this one.
Damn straight, dude. But we'll get into all of that and how they, how most places open the show with a bang. Well, this one is like one of those where you light the firework and you run away and you plug your ears and then it's just kind of like, like at the end of AEW's Revolution pay-per-view this past year, like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, real quick, we want to remind you to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram. We are at @main_event_marks. On Instagram, follow Greg at Main Event Collector. He posts a bunch of stuff, not only about the podcast, but also figure collecting, not just wrestling figures mostly, but, if you're into figure collecting and fig hunting and all that stuff, definitely follow Greg. Like I said, Instagram and Twitter at Main Event_Marks and Instagram at Main Event Collector. And on Facebook, we have a Facebook page as well. We're trying to grow the audience on there. We are facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod. And check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/C/Main Event Marks podcast. We got a bunch of great content on there as well. And we do want to let you know as well that the Main Event Marks is sponsored by Fanatics. Get all your officially licensed sports gear with Fanatics at fanatics.com. And our special link is down in the podcast description. Just let them know that the Main Event Marks and the Unhinged Sports Network sent you. We're also sponsored by Swift Lifestyles. They are clean energy drinks and focus enhancers, great tasting vitamins, and big brain nootropics that are made and shipped from the USA. Go to swiftlifestyles.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENTMARKS, all one word, and get 15% off your order. But now that that's all taken care of, we're going to take our first break of the podcast. When we come back, we're diving into the news and notes right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. And we are back.
And we're back.
Brief time out here to remind you to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram. We are at Main Event _Marks, and on Facebook, we're facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod. And you can follow Greg on Instagram at Main Event Collector. Also, Yeats aims to provide the most unique and high quality sunglasses on the market at an unbeatable price. They're built from the latest manufacturing techniques. Yeats shades are made for comfort, durability, and big Yeet moments. And on top of that, a percentage of all profits go toward beach cleanups and other community outreach programs. No matter your style, their shades are here to help you chase your vision. Go to yeetsofficial.com and use promo code BELLYUPPOD to save 10% at checkout. That's YEETZ official.com, and put in that promo code BELLYUPPOD. That's BELLYUPPOD. Save 10% at checkout. Time to dive into the news and notes here from November of 2006. It is 15 years past already, man. Nuts.
Yeah, I remember. I feel like when I watched Bound for Glory back, it felt like I watched it yesterday. This one, I didn't get that feeling. Now, keep in mind, this is the era where I watched every pay-per-view.
Same, yeah. Yeah, this one didn't strike me as I might have missed this one, come to think of it, because there were a few of them I did miss live, so this might have been one of them. I think I might have seen it in retrospect, but I don't know. Either way, WWE Hall of Famer Roddy Piper has been hospitalized in Oregon for surgery after being sent home from WWE's tour of the United Kingdom. Piper's original diagnosis was kidney stones. However, sources close to the situation say that the former World Tag Team Champion's surgery may be a result of disc problems. Due to Piper's injury, he will not be participating at Survivor Series. Ric Flair's team will now include a legend to be named.
Ron Simmons. I remember this. Yeah, I think he had said that if the fans didn't vote him in for, I think it was Taboo Tuesday, or it might have been Cyber Sunday, doesn't matter. Had he not been voted in, though, they might not have found it because he had to do a physical. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man.
In hindsight, it's great. I did vote for him, Yeah. I'm still on the fence if those things were legit or not, whatever. But, yeah, I remember that. It was heartbreaking, dude, because him and Flair were the tag champs. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I never would have called, by the way, that they were like legit, like they were like really good friends in like real life.
Oh yeah, I've heard Flair on podcasts say that him, Piper, and Hogan were like three amigos.
And the thing was,
like,
Flair,
well, the internet will have you think otherwise, but
yeah,
coming
right.
straight from the horse's mouth.
Well, and the thing with Piper is like, or Piper and Flair being such good friends is like, if you actually knew their personal lives, they lived very different lives.
Yeah, right.
'Cause-
There was a show. Not it's still on topic. I don't know if you remember what it was. I think it was like a wife swap show.
oh,
Where Piper's
yeah.
wife and Flair's wife swapped.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you go back and watch that, you can tell it was all legit. Because obviously how Wendy was compared to Piper's wife. You know, vastly
Wait,
different.
was this back when he was married to Charlotte's mom still?
No, it was, is it Wendy? You know, the maid that he's currently with? Yeah, it was her.
Wow, he was with her way back then?
No, it was way back then. I think it was like maybe 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't long ago, but it was a while back. It's probably on YouTube. I mean, YouTube. Or I don't know what the hell it was. I remember I watched it though, just because like, oh, it's Piper and Flair. This should be interesting.
Yeah, I heard about that. I hadn't seen the show, but yeah, it's like, you know, Flair was married. He's been married like 3-4 times. He's got all these kids and everything from different women, and you know, partying hard and big drinker. And there's Piper, who, according to his family, he was home whenever possible. When he was home, he didn't like to go out a whole lot. He was a big family man, didn't party hardly ever, and he was married to the same woman from the time they got married to the day he died, and he only had 3 kids, all by the same woman. So 3 or 2, something like that. And,
I know 2 for sure.
Yeah, one of them.
One's in MMA and one's in wrestling, I believe.
Is his
or
son?
Trying to wrestling.
Is his son a wrestler or a MMA fighter?
The last time I saw, yeah, I don't know, because it wasn't anything big, but yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I know his daughter is, she goes by Teal Piper. I can't remember what her real name is, but yeah. And
Is she in developmental?
No, I don't think she ever. If she was ever under a WWE contract, it was for like a heartbeat. She's off doing independent stuff now, last I seen. But yeah, same on that. If anybody gets a chance to watch the A&E documentary on Piper, it's very in depth. It's very cool. They talk to his kids, his wife, and oh man, it was awesome, and damn near made me cry at the end. It was so good.
I do like how that one's praised and everyone hates the Macho Man. It's the exact same producers.
Yeah, people have brought that up, and I guess Conrad was saying, he said he thinks the reason is because he heard they got different directors for almost every episode.
Okay.
So that would explain it, because the one for the Macho Man episode had like a different vision of what he wanted the show to be about. It's like, dude, whatever. But moving on here, The Undertaker currently has what is being described as a severe rib injury that he suffered during the WWE's recent tour of Europe. It should be noted that Undertaker worked a few dates during the tour overseas wearing a rib protector at house shows. He is slated to still work Survivor Series against Mr. Kennedy, but will be very limited in what he can do. False, they tear the house down. But yeah, now in the archives, by the way, Survivor Series 2006. Go check that out.
So you calling Dave Meltzer a liar?
No, Greg, hashtag plans changed, okay?
Okay, I can buy that.
This was like, this seemed to be a frequent thing for The Undertaker. Because I remember stories they said that people would see him like basically putting on a damn Kevlar vest backstage because he had busted ribs. And then he'd go out there and work. That's nuts. And the bad thing is, like, if anybody's ever had broken ribs or bruised ribs or whatever, you just have to wait for those things to heal. There's really not anything you can do about it.
Yeah, they literally just tape them up. That's why
Yeah.
I don't think DDP was like a gimmick in WCW all those years. Remember he had his ribs taped like chronically for like a year?
Oh, DDP, yeah.
Something tells me that might have been legit.
Yeah, I thought after a while I was just like, because as a kid I was like, why does he always tape himself up like just like every week? It was going on for like you said, like a damn year.
Chronic.
Yeah, right. But well, here's impending doom. 7 days after Survivor Series, ECW's December to Dismember pay-per-view will be taking place.
Oh man, did we cover that?
No, we haven't yet, but we We should. That show was so, like, there's so nothing to it. I think it was like an hour and a half.
The opening match with the Hardys and Eminem was damn good.
And then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, I can equate that to something else, but I'm not going to do it on the show. Let's go on.
Wow. Well, didn't the show only go like an hour and a half? And they were like,
I think it was 2 full hours, to be fair, but I do know it ended around 7 o'clock.
Yeah, they said it went hella short
9 o'clock
on time.
for you. 9 o'clock for you East Coasters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's real time out here. I don't get that whole time zone thing. But, yeah, the show was originally scheduled to take place in Chicago, but was soon moved to Augusta, Georgia. It was moved there to take away any historical ECW home court type of environment. Internally, WWE producer Kevin Dunn's choice of city and refusal to move it was done to ensure that it doesn't have the raucous atmosphere the prior ECW pay-per-views had had. Oh, yeah, you wouldn't want people to actually, care about it. Heaven forbid. Look, this show is snake bit all the way around. Like, first,
I don't even know if I want to cover that now I think about it.
Yeah. There was so much wrong with the show because...
Well, let's start with the fact that it was a week after one pay-per-view already.
And one of the big four.
Yeah, I mean, that was stupid.
Yeah. And then they're going to have an ECW event in Georgia, which was NWA/WCW territory, not ECW territory. And, yeah, the card wasn't very good. They didn't book the show right, so like we said, it went short. And then the main event, like, nobody wanted Lashley to win that match, except for Vince McMahon.
I think I did.
Yeah, but, like, okay, anybody who cared about ECW didn't want, because you probably watched it because it was just WWE entertainment, like, show, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did watch it and I regretted it.
Yeah, so nobody that, like, actually watched it because, oh, it's ECW. Like, nobody wanted Lashley to win. And I'm a Lashley fan. You are too, obviously, but...
A bigger one now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, that was just... I don't know. And that Extreme Chamber... And the one that was being pushed for by Heyman and whatever, CM Punk, he was eliminated first and quickly. Although...
Yeah, I mean, he was already defeated before then, right? I think Test had already... Or Hardcore Holly, which is random as hell, already ended his streak, right?
I think. I can't remember. I do remember Bruce Pritchard talked about this, and it's like there has to be a happy medium, because he said Paul's idea was CM Punk will come in and make the Big Show tap out to the Anaconda Vice, and then he will proceed to make everyone tap out to the Anaconda Vice, and he shall win the match, sir.
I may
have another volley, CM Punk will come in and take a dookie on everyone.
Good Lord.
And come out as the champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
All into some Punk.
Yep.
I'm not knocking that, by the way. People hear that, I want them to think I'm knocking it.
Out of all the new ECW talent that they had on the relaunch, I think he was the one that fit the most.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Maybe Hardcore Holly.
Let's not forget, Zack Ryder was on there, and he's proud to this day. He argues to the death that he's an ECW guy, and Brian Myers says, hell no, you're not.
Yeah, he's also proud to have been GCW champion, so that should tell you something.
GCW Universal Champion, by the way, which is just him stroking off the WWE, telling everybody he wants to go back, which we all know, including when he kicks his little pot shots at it.
Oh, well, of course. But to keep on with that, the final ECW house show that was to be presented by WWE on Monday in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, has now been canceled. According to the reports, a decision has been made for some ECW talent to appear on Monday Night Raw in Baltimore, Maryland, to push the Survivor Series. The plan within WWE is to combine ECW and SmackDown house shows until at least April of 2007, which did happen.
Yeah, they started doing that ECW talent exchange.
Yeah, and didn't they film ECW before SmackDown or after?
No, they filmed SmackDown after ECW. So of those two shows, ECW was the live one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah, right. Well, anything can happen. It's wild, wacky, and live. Raw, damn it.
Shut up.
December to Dismember did lead, by the way, to Paul Heyman being crap canned again. So
And Big Show, although I think he was leaving for another reason. But
wait, did he get fired after this show?
I don't know if he did or he was leaving, but this was his last pay-per-view, and then he was on the ECW after, and that was it.
I think that was when he was like at his biggest, wasn't it? And then he like went off and then came back and he was slimmer.
Yeah, it's when he came back to face Mayweather.
Okay.
That's a real sentence.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I remember there, and I was like, man, like Big Show has never been fatter. Like he got really husky there for a while. Now he's got a freaking 6-pack and whatever, which is weird to think about, but again, that's a real sentence.
Yeah.
The WWE writing team went down to Ohio Valley Wrestling last week for a half day to see how things were going, and well, they weren't too impressed with what they saw. They believe that the place has fallen apart since Paul Heyman was running it. They don't see too many hot prospects down in OVW. Also, the place doesn't seem to be run too well, although WWE doesn't spend much money on it anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's fine now. From what I heard, it's one of the best places to get trained. But yeah, I think its heyday was definitely when Danny Davis and Jim Cornette were running it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at all the freaking stars they pumped out, man. John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, on and on and on, man. Eminem. But I don't know. And they had a few under Heyman. But it went downhill, and then he eventually got FCW. From what I had heard, like Cornette was saying that that's kind of what they wanted all along was the FCW kind of thing, because he said they acted like they owned OVW because they helped fund it, whatever, and Danny Davis kept bucking a lot of their requests because he's like, well, no, I own it. You just, give me money. And
just playing it.
Yeah. So WWE finally was like, all right, well, we're severing this relationship and we're buying. And I guess they flat out bought all the rights to FCW so they could do whatever the hell they wanted with it. Which, I mean, and now they got NXT and the Performance Center and all that stuff. So see the evolution.
I think they made out pretty well.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know if Steve Kern's still, because Steve Kern ran FCW. I don't know if he still does a version of that or not.
For anybody who doesn't know who that is.
Skinner? Or
the Alligator Man.
Yeah. Or,
who has
Fabulous Ones, whatever.
Who has a WrestleMania match on his resume.
Yeah. Yeah. About that. Take this for what you will, but the writers have been put under pressure from Vince McMahon to make Raw more edgy, quote unquote, due to the success of SmackDown recently.
It's always been a thing. SmackDown just kicking their ass, hasn't it?
Yep. I think there was a span of a couple of years where not a lot of people gave a crap about SmackDown because it seemed like just rematches from what we saw on Raw.
Exactly what it was.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know, it's like if you missed SmackDown, like, oh, well, if there was anything important, they'll show me a highlight on Raw, so what do I care?
Yep.
And that was like the dark age of SmackDown, but then it came back and they did the brand split and haven't looked back since.
Yep, when they did the brand split, usually was the better of the two.
Oh, yeah. I know. Why is that always just the thing?
I don't know.
It's even when they're not trying, they just seem to be the better. But according to people within WWE, they feel that JBL is getting an itch to return to the ring in early 2007. It's always been expected that he'd shoot an angle early next year for the build to WrestleMania. If he does return to the ring, he should probably work a Foley-style schedule.
As 2006, I think he does. I feel like he does until next year against Jericho.
Yeah, I think I remember that storyline. Was this before or after the retirement thing with Rey Mysterio?
This was way before. That was 25, I think. I'm trying to remember if he wrestled at 23.
I like how
been 23.
I believe.
Or was that 22?
I'm getting the numbers mixed up. I don't remember.
He might come back twice.
I like, by the way, how he doesn't get his big break in his career until he's like only got a couple of years left in the tank. Like, well, got to make that money before retirement.
Well, at least he got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, better late than never, but it's just funny. WWE.com announced that WWE officials and members from the mixed martial arts group Pride had a meeting at the WWE World Headquarters located in Stamford, Connecticut, to discuss the possibilities of doing business together in the future. Pride, which is based in Japan, held its first MMA event in the United States last month at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, where over 11,000 people attended. The company is promoted by Dream Stage Entertainment and already has some sort of working agreement with UFC. Yeah, a working agreement.
Well, yeah, they did to get Vanderlei Silva to face Chuck Liddell. I think that fell through. It eventually did happen, I think, when they bought it outright.
So what I'm thinking here is I want to say this is the time, because I'd heard rumors about this before, and I think Pritchard confirmed basically something along these lines is I know Shane McMahon was always big into MMA, and I know he tried to get Vince to buy UFC when
it might have been a wise purchase.
Yeah, right. He wanted Vince to buy UFC before the Fertittas bought it, and then I want to say this was probably spurred by Shane yet again. It was like, hey, you should get into business with Pride. Obviously, it didn't happen.
Or literally dying.
Yeah. Well, hey, they just held an event with over 11,000 people. I mean, it probably would only go down from there, but.
Oh, they probably had Bob Sapp on the card, too. Now, I joke,
yeah,
but probably would sell that thing out.
Was it Crow Cop that broke Sapp's face?
Yes, it was.
And he cried? I mean, look, there's no shame in crying when you get your orbital bone kicked in, but, still, like, you see that big bear of a man, you're like, is he crying on TV or pay-per-view or whatever the hell? Like, whatever. Too many flashbacks to The Longest Yard, but whatever.
He broke in my face.
How does it look? Like a young Michael Jackson. I love little Michael.
That didn't age well.
No. Uncle Dave is reporting that the recently released Psychosis.
All right. I don't care.
Wow. He's reporting that the recently released Psychosis is headed to AAA, but wants to work for TNA as well. Didn't he pop up like once or twice?
I don't remember.
I want to say he was at least in a World X Cup. I could be wrong here, but I don't know. That's like tickling my brain there. I don't know. He didn't do enough to leave an impression, obviously, so, there's that. While TNA officials were said to be slightly disappointed with the 1.0 cable rating that Impact drew this past Thursday night in the company's primetime debut, or as a certain bro would say, debut, Spike TV is said to be very happy with the number TNA drew, considering that competition elsewhere that night. The hope internally within both TNA and Spike TV is for Impact to continue at the 1.0 range and build the show up from there.
They would, but
yeah,
later.
Dude, AEW today is drawing TNA ratings from like between here and 2010, and it's considered a massive success. Back then, they're like, whoa, these ratings blow.
Well, I gotta remember there was more cable back then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just pointing out, it's like, look how things have changed, with everything. I mean, we've pointed it out quite a few times, but it's like those shows where it's like, yeah, they did okay ratings, but we canceled it because their streaming numbers are way low. Like, what? I don't know. The world changes, man.
As the world changes, it stays the same. You know that.
Yeah. And this was only, I say only, but it's like, this was only 15 years ago. Nuts. Even 10 years ago, 1.0 is like, considered not great. But in 2021, that's not a bad number.
It depends on who you're talking to. But...
Yeah. Well, how'd they do in the demo, Greg?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Last story I got here. This one.
You brought that up.
I had to. I was talking about Uncle Dave earlier. It lends itself right in there. Last story I got here. This, I don't know what to say about it, but here we go.
Oh, well, I love those lead-ins.
Yeah, right. Kurt Angle was recently on the Ron and Fez radio show. You know,
Fez
them.
in 70s show.
Yeah, right. And shared his story about when Steve Austin asked him why Vince McMahon didn't recommend either of them for the Miller beer commercials and instead picked Triple H, who doesn't even drink beer. Angle said that it was an example of Vince's favoritism towards Triple H.
Let's keep in mind that he's since reneged on everything he's ever said, like because he said it was on stuff. But
I know. Well, my thing is, first thing, if anybody doesn't know what he's talking about, if I remember correctly, this might have been because the only beer commercial I ever remember Triple H being in, and I think it was this one here, was they were doing a new beer with lime in it or something, or making fun of it or something, and there was a bunch of like athletes, and Triple H was one of them, and they were like, "Don't fruit the beer."
No fruit in beer.
Don't fruit the beer.
Man law?
Man law. Man law. Man law.
Like
fruit?
Fruit. Don't fruit the beer.
What the hell does that mean?
Don't put lime in it. Just leave it the way it is. Because like I said, they were talking about adding lime flavor to the beer, like Corona or something like that. So,
all right.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing about like, don't fruit the beer, leave it as it is, and like whatever.
Keep in mind, everyone who hears this, I don't drink, so I don't know what the hell any of that means. So
yeah, right. Yeah, if anybody knows, like, because that's a big thing with Mexican beer usually has lime in it. That's a thing there. But I think like I'm gonna say during this time, I mean, Stone Cold wasn't an active wrestler. I mean, yeah, obviously he's a major star, but still, he's not an active wrestler. Kurt Angle, I mean, yeah, he was an active wrestler, but it's like I don't know if Vince wanted the Olympic gold medalist American heroes associated with a beer commercial, you know?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense too. And also not even on TV,
right?
You know, so.
And on top of all that, Kurt Angle's from Pittsburgh, who has the crappiest beer in the entire world. So I don't know if Miller wanted their beer associated with Pittsburgh.
Oh crap, you went there.
Well, they have their own kind of beer called Steel City beer, and I've never drank it, but my dad uses a euphemism for it. He calls it Steel, something that rhymes with city beer, because he said it's disgusting. So
yeah. What about that Pabst Blue Ribbon? That's all the rage now.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. The thing that makes me laugh about that is if, look, I could see Brian Myers drinking that all day. Sure, whatever. You cannot convince me for a second that Matt Cardona drinks that swill. No freaking way.
Okay, you got it completely backwards. So
how?
No, because Brian Myers and Smart Mark are the beer guys.
Oh, well.
So if you had said the other way, I can see Cardona drinking all day long because he's an idiot. Yeah. Because
what the hell?
Brian Myers is like the guy. You know, he's like, you watch the sports, he drinks beer. Cardona doesn't watch sports or anything.
Well, yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that's like, yeah, just get me a beer out of the fridge, whatever.
No, he wants a good one. So in that respect, I can't believe he drinks that crap.
Maybe. I mean, he is from New York, though.
Mark Sterling's part of like the what's that thing called, the IP? He's part of like an IP club.
IPAs, yeah.
IPA, yeah. IP, internet provider. But yeah, he's part of an IPA club and gets different ones every month and brags about how good Austin's are and stuff. I guess another one. You can't convince me that man likes PBR.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
Nope. Yeah, that one. And if you would, like, you just telling me, yeah, Smart Mark is all into IPAs, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I buy that. I'm not even going to hesitate with that. Matt Cardona, though, he just seems like he looks more of like a White Claw kind of guy.
He doesn't watch sports, which, nothing wrong with that, but like,
well, yeah, he's from Long Island. Their team sucks.
I don't understand how you can be a beer guy and not watch sports. Don't they go hand in hand?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, hey, I will say, anybody out there from New York, confirm this for me, because I've seen enough stuff to know, to figure this out. It seems like Long Island is like the redheaded stepchild of New York, because every time I hear anybody from New York, they're like, ugh, I gotta go to Long Island. Ugh. It's like, what the hell is wrong with Long Island? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's got a bunch of people like Matt Cardona. Whatever. They all collect toys and drink Pabst Blue Ribbon. Anyway, that's all I got for the news. Now that we've pissed a lot of people off, we're gonna take another break. When we come back, we're gonna dive into TNA Genesis 2006, right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
This message is brought to you by Belly Up Sports. No, just kidding. This is not an NWO promo. This is just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, the host of Here in Puckburg on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. I have a hockey podcast where we talk about hockey fandom and the love of the game and where that leads you in this game we call life. Why am I on Main Event Marks telling you about this? Well, what if I told you I had one half of the world's greatest tag team, otherwise known as the Main Event Marks, the one and only Greg, Superfly Greg. He was on, and he was talking about his love of the game. So you might want to come over and check that episode out. And if you like what you hear, you can check out the rest of our incredible episodes with our incredible hockey community, from PHF athletes, ESPN personalities, fathers of NHL players, and a whole lot more. Come by, follow the show, give a like, give a subscribe, and it'd be great to have you here in Puckburg. But enough about me. Let's get back to what you're really here for, the Main Event Marks, because they are the cream of the crop. Oh yeah.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. And we are back.
And we're back.
You heard the turkey gobble, so it's time to get into all of this. It's TNA Genesis 2006 from November 19th, 2006. A tagline: "The revolution will be televised." Sure.
I need to point out, too, this is also the 33rd birthday of Sega Genesis. So
Really? Wait, are you talking present day or in 2006?
just present day.
Oh, okay.
In 2033.
I was gonna.
Hey,
I was
it's
gonna
hard
say,
to
like, yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, wait a minute, back in 06, I was like, Genesis ain't that damn old. What the hell? Okay.
Yeah, Genesis, as old as Jesus. There you go.
Wow. And on the 8th day, God made Mario. Actually, it'd be Sonic.
Sonic.
But, yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Well, hey, Mario did come before Sonic, so there is that.
Oh,
Anyway.
well, maybe he was just too excited.
Yeah, right. The venue was the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. I like, by the way, now, whenever you watch a TNA event, wherever they are, they'll be like, we've made this into the Impact Zone. Like, all right.
Yep, they literally said that. They said that about Vegas, and they said about Nashville.
Yeah, it's like, all right, the roaming Impact Zone, that's cool, I guess. Whatever.
Well, aren't they still in the Asylum in Nashville? I thought that's where they were, but
I thought they closed that down. That was just like a building at the fairgrounds.
I know they did a show there like a couple of months ago, or maybe last year.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a homecoming show in the Asylum, but I don't know. I just thought it was the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But the attendance is between 900 and 1,100. They didn't list the attendance, but it looked sold out, and I think that building only holds 1,100 people. So, well, the pay-per-view buy rate was over 60,000. Again, TNA numbers are wonky, so you can't nail them down. The event at this time was TNA's highest-selling pay-per-view domestically, selling just over 60,000 buys, beating the previously set record of 55,000 at Bound for Glory 2006, and it's the all-time best-selling pay-per-view TNA held, not one of their big 2 yearly pay-per-views, Bound for Glory or Slammiversary. That's nuts, but I'm going to say it's all Kurt Angle. I mean,
I have no doubts.
Yeah, I was going to say, pretty safe bet, I'd say. But, oh my gosh, this first match, man, it was a 3-on-2 handicap. We got Serotonin, which they hadn't got their new names yet, but it's Maverick Matt, Johnny Devine, and Kazarian taking on the Voodoo Kin Mafia of BG and Kip James.
I was going to say right now, I was so glad I didn't have to go to the bathroom during this because I was not moving. Ass was in the seat.
Damn straight.
Eyes were on the TV.
Well, this is what everybody paid their money for, man. Like, this was the big one.
I can't keep this up. I'm sorry.
My first note, by the way, this only went just over 3.5 minutes for your opening match. So there you go.
Well, you want to start off hot, you know?
Oh, well, yeah.
You get it done and let people know anything can happen.
It's like a firecracker, man. It explodes quick, but it's awesome.
Right.
But my first
I don't
note.
know why you're giggling at that, but no, whatever.
My first note of this whole thing was serotonin was so stupid. I hated it at the time, and I still hate it.
Speak for yourself.
Keep in mind, by the way, I pointed out on multiple podcasts, I was a big mark for Raven and TNA. This sucked. Final note, Kip pins Divine after hitting the one and only. I don't know what the hell he called it in TNA, but that's what I know it as. Uncle Dave and I both gave it Uno star. What say you?
Star.
Yeah. Sucked. But, hey, whole thing sucked. Well, at Bound for Glory, here are two of the big things I was talking about that changed within a month. Because we go from them being their own characters, whatever. Now they're all three a team, and they're part of Serotonin. And then we've got the James Gang, who are now VKM, the Voodoo Kin Mafia, which, that makes sense.
I still don't understand it.
Yeah, if anybody can tell me what the hell a Voodoo Kin Mafia is, I think they're just putting words together.
Okay, Voodoo, we obviously know. And they'll remedy that with Roxy, by the way. She comes after, by the way. Makes me wonder, do they put her in there just because?
Yeah, they're like, what's voodoo about this? Oh, whatever. Shut the F up.
Kin, obviously being like relative or,
Yeah, right.
Mafia being a group.
Yeah, it's like the last two words of this name seem redundant. I don't, and there's two of you.
Yeah, right.
And then,
I don't know. It just sounds like a huge group. Voodoo Kin Mafia, like 5 or 6 guys, people. Should say people because Roxy was in it. But, right. Yeah.
And didn't they basically come out of caskets on the stage? It
was like a box or something. They came out of a box, so obviously.
But they were not over. So, obviously, for anybody that doesn't get the joke, their initials VKM for Vincent Kennedy McMahon. They made that very clear, kind of like how Relic spelled backwards is killer. But yeah,
I want to slap you.
They pounded it home every week,
and you're bringing it back.
Another confusing thing about this gimmick at the beginning, their theme song opens with a phone ringing, and then it's like 911, what's your emergency? And then some woman is like, help me, they're in my house, and then it cuts off.
So Voodoo and Mafia, and then they're home invaders.
Oh, for God's sake. I just didn't get this gimmick. It sucked. But it was clearly they were taking shots.
I don't think the Mafia's ever going to give anybody time to call the cops. I could be wrong on that. If there was such thing as a Mafia, of course.
Yeah, but, there isn't. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing. Although, it's a sad turn here, but, Dino Bravo, man. Nobody found the person, all right? After the match, BG James grabs the mic, and he calls out Vince McMahon, Michael Hickenbottom, and Paul Levesque, challenging them to a fight and telling them to watch Impact on Thursday night.
Yeah, that's the only way you can get people to watch it if they're doing something like that.
Yeah, because I'm totally sure. We had another story about they wanted to bring the New Age Outlaws back to be part of DX until they found out that months previously they cut a promo making fun of Triple H and Vince McMahon.
Well, obviously they heard this. They saw this.
Yeah, I'm sure their eyes were glued to the screen for Genesis. Anyway,
I sense some sarcasm in there.
Do you remember that one interview with Finley where somebody was like, so did you guys have Impact on a screen in the back like you did with Nitro? And he laughed. And he was like, no.
I never heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, so did you guys have Impact on? Or yeah, it was when they were on Mondays, I think. It's did you have a TV on to see, in the Gorilla to see? And he's laughing. He's like, no.
This is real.
Yeah, right. After a little pause, Kazarian and Maverick Matt bring Johnny Devine back to the ring.
Real names.
Well, hey, Kazarian was about to be Kaz, which, that was original. Maverick Matt was
more clever than Maverick Matt.
Well, Maverick Matt was about to be Martyr, and then Johnny Devine was going to be Havoc with a K.
So did they just keep that name under like trademark and use it now?
I don't know.
There is a Havoc in back now. That's why I asked.
Oh, really? Who?
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica. Okay, yeah. I forgot she dropped the first name. That's
Not totally, but they just call her Havoc. But
yeah, I think she. Yeah, I don't know. I think she might own the name because she used it in the Indies. So,
yeah.
Sammy Callahan's
Also,
wife.
I don't think they could afford to lock down a trademark anyways.
Yeah, right. Well, that's Sammy Callahan's wife for anybody that doesn't know. But anyway, they bring Johnny Devine. They bring Johnny Devine to the ring with a leather bag over his head, get him in the ring, put him on his knees, and remove the bag. Get on your knees, Johnny.
Hey, we haven't seen this before.
Yeah, right. Raven now comes out with a kendo stick and literally blisters Johnny Devine's back with it before leaving. Yeah. This whole thing was literally designed to get Kazarian over.
They kind of did.
Yeah, which is fine, but and then just when he starts, he's really getting over, man. Now we're gonna take him off TV and bring him back as Suicide.
He wouldn't be Suicide much. I think Daniels was most. Yeah,
well, he was Suicide for like a month or two, and then he leaves, comes back as Kazarian. It's like, what is with their they had an infatuation with doing that because they did that with Daniels and Curry, man.
I just get some miles out of him. I don't know.
Yeah. But we go to the back now with Jeremy Borash.
Yeah, we're in the back.
With Jeremy Borash.
I can't turn it off. Sorry.
He's standing by with Shane Douglas and the newly franchised Naturals. They're standing next to a broken table with Team 3D was here spray painted on it. Douglas says that the Naturals beat Team 3D at their own game by putting them through tables, and now there will be a substitute to stand in for Team 3D's beating tonight with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal. Which brings us to this match. Look, you're going to hear that and think I'm going to crap on it. I'm not, but it's just like, why is this on pay-per-view?
Yeah, you already done did.
Wow. I'm just wondering, it's like, why is this on pay-per-view other than filler? I don't know. But it's Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal.
Don't question it.
Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal taking on the newly franchised Naturals of Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens with Shane Douglas in their corner. It's went 8.5 minutes. In the end, Shane Douglas gets on the apron to distract Sanjay Dutt. Dutt punches him, and then Chase Stevens lifts him into a powerbomb. Andy Douglas hits a missile dropkick to Dutt as Stevens hits the sit-out powerbomb for the win. Kind of a weird tag finish, but whatever. Uncle Dave gives this 2 1/4 stars. I give it 3 stars. What's a?
It's a random ass thing.
Yeah.
1/4. Whatever. I gave it 2, but
I thought it was.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I was like going back and forth. I was like 2.5, 3. It's like, I don't know, because it's better than average. So I don't know. It just, the only thing I think that took away from it for me was I was like, why is this happening? Other than just to give the Naturals a win.
Just because.
And well, now they traded in their denim vests for leather jackets. So, they're cool now, Greg.
Yeah. I think I feel like being sarcastic.
Yeah. Bro, we're going to put Douglas with you, bro, and you got to steal all his gimmicks, bro, and you're going to wear leather jackets. Why? Because I said so, bro. Oh, we'll get to him later. But first, in the back.
In the back. See?
Yeah.
It's hard. You can't turn it off.
Jeremy Borash is standing by with LAX, the Latin American Exchange. On Impact, they attempted to... Wow. On Impact, they attempted to burn the American flag, and of all people, P.D. Williams stopped them and got beat down. Because, that made sense.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool moment.
It was, but it's like,
we had never seen P.D. be a face up until now.
Yeah, but wasn't his whole career before this, literally his whole career before this, anti-America?
No, never. See, that was the thing that people didn't get. It was just pro-Canada. Never anti-American.
Yeah, never. Okay. I see your point there. I get it. I get you. But Conan says, like a true Canadian, Petey Williams is a coward. Conan,
They kind of, Legado del Fantasma kind of made a similar shot at Canada. Is that a thing? Like Mexicans just make fun of Canada?
excuse me, Greg, Conan is not Mexican.
Well, whatever. He's big in Mexico. But like they were talking about the North American title and Santos Escobar. He was saying only an American or a Mexican can hold this title, and then the former TJZ whispers in his ear something, and then you hear Escobar say, "No, Canada doesn't count. No."
It's just America's hat.
It's like, why is that a thing?
Everybody takes pot shots at Canada. It's fun.
We talked about this before. It's like, you don't make jokes about black people, Asians, Mexicans, whatever, but Canada's fine. Make all the pot shots of Canada you want. That's totally fine. Like, that's the thing. You never hear anybody in the media get in trouble for talking about Canada.
I want to say it's because it's kind of the same thing. You can take pot shots at America because, like, Canada isn't like one race of people, So it's not like you're being racist.
Yeah, I get
crapping
that.
on the country.
And yeah, I get that point. I can see the point, but still.
Right. But Conan says that PD is, quote, infringing upon their constitutional rights by stopping them from burning the flag, and they'll do it tonight. Then JB says that Jim Cornette will be there to lay down.
It's questionable constitutional rights.
Yeah, right.
Being a little liberal, no pun intended with that, but.
Wow. When JB says that Jim Cornette will be there to lay down the law tonight, Conan says that he hopes he shows up because, quote, we don't take our orders from no white boy.
To be fair, they don't get any whiter than someone from Kentucky, so.
Exactly.
That's
especially when he's wearing them Kentucky Derby jackets that he owns. Hell yeah, man. Dude,
do you remember when he first debuted and what he said to LAX? I don't know how the hell it made TV. Do you remember?
We covered it. I can't remember now.
It was Slammiversary. Well, we didn't cover it actually because it happened on Impact after Slammiversary when he debuted. Okay. But he said that LAX, I forget the context, something about either they're gonna have to defend or whatever. And he says, if you don't like your jobs, you can quit. And this is him, not me. I want to make that clear. He said, if you want a job, Jiffy Lube continues to be hiring.
I think I remember. Yeah. Okay.
It's like that's got on TV.
Yep. Good Lord. I love heel Conan, by the way. He just he doesn't even give like one shred of an F. Not even kind of. I love it. But after a promo package, Jeremy Borash is standing by backstage with X Division champion Christopher Daniels. Borash asks if Daniels' beating styles for the X Division title put a rift between him and AJ, to which Daniels sidesteps the question. He then tells Chris Sabin that he's disrespectful and not in the same league as him and AJ. Daniels says tonight he will have two things, quote, this title and your respect, young man, and that is gospel. I thought that was kind of a cool. Yeah, it was a cool way to end the promo, but it's like, young man, how freaking old are you, Daniels? I will say, I do think at this point he was quite a bit older than. Well, I mean, he still is obviously, but quite a bit older than Chris Sabin.
Well, yeah.
People forget.
You would know if you look at him.
I know, right? Well, people forget Daniels had been wrestling since like the mid '90s.
Yeah, I think there was a rumor he was going to be the higher power. Remember that?
Yeah, and he was all set to go until Vince.
Do that math. 1989. So yeah.
Yeah, Vince Russo really wanted him, didn't get him, but he ended up getting him in TNA. There you go.
That's proven that man is not a complete waste, by the way. I want to point that out.
Yep, he liked Daniels, he liked Styles, but yeah, he had some decent ideas. He just really needed a filter. Maybe
we're going to have these two amazing wrestlers, and then after them, women are going to take their tops off, bro.
We're going to have an awesome wrestling match between two of the greatest in the world, bro. And while they're wrestling, a hot chick with big fake boobs is going to be dancing in a cage on the stage, bro.
And he did that.
He did. Yeah. This was all real, by the way. I'm not just saying this is like a sexist. I mean, it is sexist, but, chauvinistic, I guess. I don't know. But it happened. Bro, it's going to be called TNA, and we're going to have cage dances, bro.
Good Lord.
And he got this past Jerry Jarrett because that man is an idiot.
No.
Well, can I at least advertise my chicken salad on the, the ring skirt?
Bro, they're gonna have a match. They're gonna have a match in chicken salad, bro.
In a little kiddie pool. It's gonna be filled with chicken salad, bro. Great idea. Bro, it's gonna be Jeff Jarrett versus Sting with Grandma's chicken salad recipe on a pole, bro.
Holy crap.
We went way too far with this. Anyway, getting into the wrestling here. This is what you people tune in for, all right? Bring the entertainment. But it's
we had to because most of the show sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say
That's not been good. Maybe sucked is too much.
Yeah, a good 1/3 of the show kind of sucked, I'll say. The Fallen Angel. Say what?
The whole thing didn't suck.
No, definitely not. But this one is the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels defending the X Division title against Chris Sabin in about 13 and a half minutes.
Hail Sabin.
I'm going to say both these characters were kind of shades of gray at this point because you didn't know if Daniels was full face or full heel, and Sabin was mostly heel, but he wasn't complete a-hole. He was just cocky. I don't know. I think right here he kind of was full heel, but either way.
Oh, heel.
Chris Sabin gets a chair at one point, and AJ Styles comes out to steal it away from him. Sabin goes for a DDT, but Daniels ends up reversing it and rolling him up for the pin and the win. Uncle Dave gave it 3.5 stars. I gave it 3. What say you?
I gave it 3. On any other night, this would have been the best match of the night.
Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. 2 of my favorite X Division guys ever. So yeah. The third one obviously being AJ, but yeah, Chris Sabin.
He's all right.
Yeah. Chris Sabin just doesn't get the recognition he really deserves, in my opinion. He is still damn good.
Still in TNA, by the way. Impact.
Yeah. And Daniels is back in Impact. Nuts.
That's true.
I will say.
Although, I mean, apparently that working relationship is over, I think, right? So maybe he's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I will say, like, why the hell did they have Daniels coming out to the Bad Influence theme, by the way?
I don't know. I wish he would have used his Marilyn Manson ripoff personally.
I know. Like, I don't get it. But whatever. After the match, Sabin grabs a chair and raises it behind Daniels' back, but Jerry Lynn runs down and snags it. He shouts at Sabin and demands that he shake Daniels' hand. Sabin eventually shakes the hand of Christopher Daniels, holds his arm up in victory, but then he hits a cradle shock on him before running away. There you go.
Yep.
He's a heel. Backstage may have been one of the best segments of the whole night. It's Kevin Nash telling Alex Shelley and Austin Starr that they need a big win tonight. Nash says that if they follow him, they'll have the careers like some of the biggest stars of all time. And they go back and forth naming off their like Pork Chop Cash, like Don Kernodle, George South, Lasertron.
Bob Backlund.
This is so effing stupid and hilarious. And Nash is like, they're all straight faced about it the whole time. Like, that was the best part. And then Nash is like, guys, we could go on all night. Nash then has everyone put their hands in the middle and they make noises like they're beating off with vigor.
I didn't get that, but okay.
Yeah, because they put their hands in the middle and they're like, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, man.
I was like, this is creepy. But now we got this match. It is the Paparazzi Productions of Alex Shelley and Austin Starr taking on Ron the Truth Killings and Lance Hoyt, who is now Lance Archer. This went just over 11 minutes. I laughed my ass off seeing Lance Archer dancing to Truth's theme song on the stage.
Yeah.
He really did say no to nothing, right? Like, he did everything. He was Dallas with Kid Cash. He did this. He seemed to be a throw-in tag team partner for everybody for years. And then
he's a go-to guy. I mean, think about it.
Yep. And he was Lance Rock in the Rock and Rave Infection. And then
Jimmy Rave, by the way.
Yeah, he said he had a double leg amputation.
Yeah.
And he's already had an arm amputated. I don't know what's going on with Jimmy Rave. If anybody knows, like, I'm thinking cancer or something. Like,
it's worth pointing out, by the way, that I saw this on someone retweeted it. Vince Russo has an old Raw magazine autographed by every member of the Hart Foundation in 1987. And he's auctioning it off with all the money going to him.
Wow, really?
It's kind of hard to talk crap about that man when he does something like that.
Hey, I never once said he was a complete pile of garbage. Yes, mostly. But nah, I'm kidding. But
just, it's a cool thing to do. But
yeah.
he said he's had it for many years. He's never given up on, or never thought about selling it until now.
Oh, okay. Apparently he suffers from MRSA.
What's that?
Pro wrestler Jimmy Rave, 38, reveals that he had both legs amputated after suffering from MRSA 6 months after same drug-resistant infection forced doctors to amputate his arm. Yeah, man. It's a staph infection that's resistant to antibiotics and can be deadly. Man.
Just horrible. I mean, he's alive, though, but...
Yeah, that's got to be
cost, though.
I know, bad quality of life, but yeah. Anyway, getting back to something less depressing. Turning it back to this. Alex Shelley has Lance Hoyt dead to rights, telling Austin Starr to go get his camera. While he's doing that, Lance rolls Alex Shelley up and wins. Well, Dave gave this a 1.5. I gave it 2 for slightly below average. What say you?
I gave it 2, but barely.
Yeah, it's this was another one. Why the hell was this on pay-per-view?
It felt like an Impact, honestly.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, it's like one of those old school cards where it's like, look, you all paid for Joe and Angle. Everything else before that's just filler.
Did they pay?
The people on pay-per-view did.
Yeah, okay.
And after the match, Austin Starr and Kevin Nash argue and they get mad at Alex Shelley. Ah, man. This was during the time, by the way, of starting to become an Alex Shelley fan. Because I didn't give a crap about him before this. So, hey, if Paparazzi Productions did anything, man, it made me give a crap about him. So there's that. Backstage, Jeremy Borash is with Christian Cage, who says that he didn't make a mistake by underestimating AJ Styles because, quote, the stakes are for losers. He says that he's still undefeated. I forgot that was a thing with him, by the way. He says he's still undefeated, names the people he's beaten in TNA, says that he's the biggest star in the wrestling industry, and he says tonight he's going to become the number 1 contender when he defeats AJ Styles. There you go. He also almost threatened Jeremy Borash that he was going to rip off his face and use it for toilet paper. So there's that.
With the pearly eyes.
Right. But this next match is AJ Styles.
If you don't know what that is, by the way, go look it up.
Wow. Up next is AJ Styles versus Christian Cage. The winner becomes the number 1 contender for the NWA World's Heavyweight title. Went just shy of 16 minutes. Christian gets frustrated at one point and goes for a chair, but good old Slick Johnson stops him from using it.
Real name?
Slick Johnson's the referee, by the way, if anybody doesn't know. And not
Go
only
back and listen to the last review we just recorded, by the way, our last we reviewed. Some funny Slick Johnson stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. And he, man, they had to gimmick this dude all up. Not only is his name Slick Johnson, so we can, listen to that name. And he was kind of goofy, but let's put him in shorts, too. So, he stands out from everybody. And he kind of looks like David Draymond's younger brother.
That bow tie, man.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. You remember when he had, like, a comically big one?
Yeah, every night. Or every other night, apparently.
Yeah. But he tries it again later, but Christopher Daniels now runs down and grabs a chair, plays tug of war with Christian while Styles tries to roll Christian up. Finally, Christian lets go of the chair and sits down on Styles' shoulders and hooks the leg for the pinfall win. I felt this was a pretty original ending. I liked it. Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4 of a star. I don't know what the hell shaved off a quarter star. I gave it 3.5. What say you?
I gave it 3. I felt it could have been better, though.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing. I don't know. That's why I gave it 3.5, because I'm like, it was better than 3, but it was not 4-star worthy, so I don't know. I split the difference. David is freaking.
I mean, we've seen worse stuff.
Oh, well, hell yeah. And Christian had a string of really good matches in TNA.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is some of his best work ever, honestly, to this day. I mean, TNA, like this whole run.
Oh, well, no, Greg. His best run ever was when he returned to WWE and, kicked Randy Orton, or got kicked by Randy Orton in the nuts.
I forgot that's your opinion. Sorry.
Shut the F up. Hey, I'm such a Christian, Mark. I missed out on apparently meeting half of the wrestlers in the frickin' world.
It's true.
To stand in line and wait for his autograph in.
I wonder if I've covered those all now. Like that was a weekly thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
you kept throwing out these names. It was like, oh, I met so and so, and I'm like, when? And you're like, oh, it must have been when you were waiting for Christian. Like, what the hell?
Keep in mind, you were waiting in that line for like over an hour.
Was it that long?
Yeah. No, that line was wrapped around the whole thing, remember? Like, you went around the outskirts.
I did get to walk by, I think, Hurricane and definitely Jerry Lawler. So, and, Jerry Lawler, who I thought it was Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, turns out it was just his fiance. I kid.
No, you're not kidding, but whatever.
Somebody posted a picture of him. He was, like, in his, like, high school, like, his old high school, like, and he posted a picture about, I'm back in my old alma mater. And somebody was like, so many jokes about this. But now, after the match, Daniels tries to apologize as AJ shouts him down. Styles finally slaps Daniels as Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal try to break it up. Finally, Rhino runs to the ring because that man doesn't know how to walk. He just runs everywhere. He grabs a mic. He tells Sanjay and Jay to leave because he's got this covered. Rhino says that he and his best friend, Christian Cage, just had a horrible falling out. And he doesn't want to see the same thing with AJ and Daniels. So they need to shake hands. And because brothers gotta hug. Gotta get it in, man. Styles grabs a mic and says, thanks, Dr. Phil. If I need a psychiatrist, I'll give you a call. Before he throws the mic back at Rhino and storms out.
That was heartbreaking, man.
My thing is, why the hell does Rhino give a crap?
Don't question him.
We literally saw it. We've covered that man on pay-per-view gored a man's wife through a table and pile drove the crap out of her on Mother's Day and then said, happy Mother's Day, you effing B. But now he's got a heart, Greg. He's a caring man beast, all right?
Yeah.
He's the real effing show with the
people
real
change,
big effing heart. Oh, yeah, definitely. He's got kids now, man.
I got kids. I need to go with this woman. I came out wrong.
What the hell? He already gored the one. Anyway.
Wow. Man, you made it worse.
I'm always here to help. But we go to the back again with Jeremy Borash standing by with Gail Kim and America's Most Wanted. How Roll Tide was she looking, man?
All kind of Roll Tide.
She was all the way live right here. I'm sure a certain buff British chef thought the same thing.
Is he British?
Yeah, he's British. What is it? Something Irvine or Irvin or
Robert?
Whatever. Robert Irvin. All right. Chris Harris runs down everything that's happened in the feud between AMW and LAX before giving a rah-rah pro-America speech. James Storm follows up with basically the same thing, but more of like a hick twang to it. Like, these dang old Hispanics come over here to America and they do all, we'll go America. Woo! Beer!
What the hell?
Something along those lines. I don't know. But anyway, they storm off together towards the ring. The next match is Latin American Exchange, Hernandez and Homicide with Conan in their corner, defending the NWA World Tag Team titles against America's Most Wanted, Chris Harris and James Storm, with Gail Kim in their corner. In about 9.5 minutes. Before the match starts, Conan grabs a mic and says that they're protected by the First Amendment, and tonight they will desecrate the American flag and burn it. Like, well, okay then. AMW then
jumps up front about it.
Yeah, right. He wasn't even like tiptoeing around. He's just like, nope, F it. But AMW then jumps LAX and the brawl starts. In the end, Gail Kim and Conan are distracting the referee while Homicide smacks James Storm in the back of the head with a blowtorch. Hernandez then pins Storm for the win. Uncle Dave and I both gave this 2.5 stars for average. What say you?
I gave 2 2. Yeah, sorry, every minute. Yep. Yeah. I didn't hate it, but I was like, let's go.
Yeah, it was okay, average. We've seen better. Especially like after Bound for Glory, they had that amazing match, LAX and Styles and Daniels. This was just kind of, it was all right. But after the match, LAX gets in the ring with the American flag and the blowtorch. Homicide gets Gail Kim up for the Gringo Killer, but Petey Williams comes in to save her and beat up LAX. as AMW gets back in the ring to help. Jim Cornette is here now, and he stomps his way to the ring with a mic in hand. Cornette says that
You
LAX...
come out of a box, nobody cares.
Damn right. Cornette says that LAX is guilty of misconduct and bad taste. Irony. He then goes off about how the veterans and the families and friends of those veterans don't like LAX's conduct. TNA management doesn't approve of LAX's conduct, and management has decided that LAX isn't fit to represent TNA as tag team champions. Because of that, Jim Cornette is stripping them of the tag team titles, and they have until Thursday night on Impact to hand over the NWA tag team titles, or they're fired.
This was so stupid.
Yeah, it's like,
Why don't you just get a big ass team or something to go out there and beat them up?
I know. It's like, we're going to strip you of the tag titles because you're mean. Like, what? All right. This was just, whatever. I did say, what's weird is seeing America's Most Wanted hoist up a proud Canadian, Petey Williams, on their shoulders, waving the American flag, while they stand next to the Korean Canadian, Gail Kim. So it's all kinds of weird, man. In the back, James Mitchell is standing in a red glowing room with Abyss. He tells Sting that his best years are long ago, but he's lost his edge, and Abyss will destroy him tonight. He lets us know that tonight will be brutal as the monster Abyss drags Sting down the highway to hell. Abyss then shouts repeatedly at the camera as they walk off. Yeah. You ready for this one?
When I watched this back, I was like, oh yeah, this.
Yeah, it was this one.
I do have something to say about that. Might surprise you though, but let's go on.
Yeah, let's get into it. It's Sting defending the NWA, or excuse me, it's Sting defending the NWA World Heavyweight title against Abyss with James Mitchell in his corner. It went 15 and a half minutes. Sting and Abyss start the match brawling through the crowd. Abyss eventually uses a chair. I guess the referee didn't see it. And keep this stuff in mind, by the way. And he sets up a bunch of tables with barbed wire boards across them in front of the stage. The referee talks Abyss out of powerbombing Sting through that stuff, saying that he'll be DQ'd. So Abyss takes Sting back to the ring. Per usual, the ref gets bumped at one point. Abyss pours tacks in the ring. But here's a twist, Greg. He actually chokeslams Sting into the tacks that he laid out. What?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I just isn't Abyss supposed to go into his own crap? Well, he does eventually because Sting gets up and drop toe holds him face first into the tacks. So there's that. And then he locks him into the Scorpion Deathlock, but Mitchell distracts the referee from seeing Abyss tapping out. Sting now makes Mitchell tap out of the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting then uses a chair on Abyss, not a DQ. And then he ties his legs up in a random rope.
Hold on. Now, they do make sure to tell us the referee's being lenient. Remember, they say it.
Oh.
To be fair.
Yeah, well.
Just saying, there is continuity at least with it.
Well, there's that. And then there's a rope hanging from the ceiling. Did they explain why?
No.
Okay.
So why would they?
Yeah, right.
Every wrestling arena in the history of wrestling, dude, has a rope hanging from the rafters.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell you don't understand. That's why I'm here to educate you. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. But there's a rope hanging from the ceiling. Sting, that is. Pronouns, pal. He ties Abyss's legs up in it, and he pulls him up, dangling from the ceiling. Think of Macho Man and Crush, WrestleMania 10.
Except Abyss actually dangled.
Yeah, exactly. Macho Man just said, F it, I'm going back to the ring. You're good enough. Sting then beats Abyss repeatedly with the chair. Again, not a DQ. And he brings Abyss down, takes him to the stage, and then shoves the referee down, which finally draws the DQ. And then he shoves Abyss off of the stage, through the barbed wire boards and the table in front of the stage. Oh, God. Uncle Dave gave it 2.25 stars. I gave it 2.5 for average, I guess. What did you give it?
I gave it 2. Now, I thought it was a stupid way for him to lose the title. But Mike Tenay clearly told everybody that since the inception of TNA, you could lose the title in a DQ. And I thought that was cool that there was continuity there.
Yeah.
I don't know why the hell that was ever a rule. Apparently, it's a rule in UFC too. There's a current champion, wink, wink, because that's a long story, that won their title off of a DQ. So apparently that was MMA too.
I think it was an NWA rule that they carried over.
Yeah.
I want to say.
I mean, and just because it had never been used at this point, people call BS. Like, well, it's not really BS if it's always been a rule, just because it's never been used. You know.
This just he was only the champion for a month. He literally won the belt at Bound for Glory. Like, why?
Well, I think Abyss loses it either the next month or the month after that.
Yeah. So like, Russo, that damn Russo runs wild again. Or no, he's
Vince Russo has struck again.
Yeah. Good Lord. Well, after the match, Sting looks like, what have I done? Rudy Charles, the referee, says that because of the DQ, Sting loses the title to Abyss because, as you said, it's apparently been a TNA rule since day one.
And it has. They used to say it on the Wednesday night pay-per-views, so.
I get it, but it just like the F. Yeah, like, look at your champion, everybody. He's writhing in pain in barbed wire. Yeah. Whatever. Didn't Abyss lose it to Christian?
Was it Christian?
I don't remember.
I think so.
Either way.
Either way, Sting wins it the next Bound for Glory, and then the one after that, too, I believe. So, there you go.
Lovely. Well, we're going to take our second to last break. When we come back, it's main event time. No, the title match was not the main event, and you'll see why right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. FANATICS offers the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and gear from all the leagues, teams, and players that you love, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, NCAA, NASCAR, soccer, and golf. They even offer esports gear for the gamers among us. You can shop by brand, sport, team, or player. And if you sign up for Fan Cash, you get exclusive weekly deals. So head on over to fanatics.com today. Fanatics is a sponsor of the Main Event Marks and Unhinged Sports Network. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. Now we're back.
We're back.
Main event time. It's Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. It went 13 minutes, 42 seconds. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I forgot that's what's on his driver's license. I forgot that Kurt Angle used to come up through the stage, by the way.
Everyone wanted to be Rey Mysterio.
Well, clearly Kurt was a time traveler. He went forward in time and saw that Cody Rhodes was doing it, and he wanted to be like Cody.
I want to slap you.
Sorry, I had to give him.
No, you didn't. That one you didn't. That one you just asked for.
Maybe. Well, he also saw that Cody was doing a pro-America gimmick, and he wanted to rip that off too. So he went and joined the Olympics. Anyway.
Well, sorry, but Kurt still didn't have the very first ever interracial baby.
Well, yeah. Technically, I mean, he did. If you what's funny is like somebody Googled that, and like somebody actually put that Jason Jordan was Kurt Angle's real son on Google or whatever.
I guess that's kind of true.
That's like, holy crap. Kurt still jokes about it to this day. But Kurt gets busted open in the same spot that he had a big ass bandage on his head for after Joe. I think it was right after Joe hit the suicide flying elbow to the outside of the ring. But Kurt quickly is wearing the Crimson Mask. Halfway through this one, Joe nails a muscle buster, but Kurt kicks out and reverses a coquina clutch attempt into an angle slam for a near fall. Joe then reverses an ankle lock into a coquina clutch, which is then reversed into another ankle lock. That eventually gets broken. In the end, Kurt Angle locks in another ankle lock. Great finds it, and Samoa Joe has no choice but to tap out for his first defeat in his 17-month TNA career. Uncle Dave gave this 4.25 stars. I gave it 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite 5, but it was damn close. What say you?
I as well gave it 4. They would have a way better Iron Man match eventually.
I believe it. I'd have to go back and watch it. Was that the lockdown one, or was that a different one?
That was a cage match. That's probably their 5-star match. But the Iron Man match is a couple months later, I think.
Okay. Well, not to spoil anything for next year, but we're going to be covering a lot of TNA 2007 next year. So I'm going to try to get that one on the schedule, whatever show that was on. So
Might have been Destination Next. Let me figure I can check.
Okay. Yeah. Whenever you figure it out, we'll get it on the schedule. Like I said, we did a lot of TNA 2006 on this one, but we started in kind of late. So I want to do as much 07 as possible next year from TNA because I really enjoyed that year. It was Kurt Angle, Sting, Christian Cage, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, a stacked ass roster, man. But anyway, after the match, the crowd chants, "You tapped out! You tapped out!" Samoa Joe says, and I'll clean it up, but he says, "Damn right I tapped out." And he says that he did it because he recognizes that tonight, Kurt Angle was the better man. He then says that if Kurt's a real man, he'll accept a rematch. Kurt looks around and acts like he's going to shake Joe's hand, but then he pulls his hand back and walks away. Joe then says, "I guess we're going to have to do this the hard way," before leaving. And that is the end of the show. So I guess that brings us to our final break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the final ratings and kind of a wrap up and what we're going to talk about next week, right after this. Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan.
Alan.
Oh, yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot
The
that.
same mother and father.
Your room was...
Oh, we shared the room.
Shared a room.
We shared the room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah,
from
we
somewhere.
go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast.
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The
Broadcast.
Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah. Well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. It nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Now back to the show. All right, we are back.
And we're back.
Final time of the podcast here. For the final ratings, IMDb, Internet Movie Database, gives this 7.7 out of 10. CageMatch.net gives it 5.70 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10 for a B. What say you?
I gave it a C+.
Close. I think this is one of the first shows that you rated lower than me.
Yeah.
Usually it's the other way around.
I didn't hate it, but could have been so much better.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said, there was a lot of filler on the show, which kind of sucked. But the main event was really good. Title match was fine. Tag match was fine. Or tag title match, I should say. Styles and Christian was great. And Daniels and Sabin was great. And that first tag match was fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it. Or I guess technically the second tag match, because that first one was...
We'll call that a match, sure.
Yeah, that handicap crap. But yeah, so that's that. Anyway, that wraps up TNA Genesis 2006. I will say this: I'm glad I went back and watched this. It was a good watch. I didn't get. I
like to watch, so.
Yeah, which is now a shirt, by the way. Thank you for that transition. It is a shirt over at on our Bonfire store. It is, if I remember correctly here, it is bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. Go check that out. It is at the very top of our store. It's I Like to Watch, and it looks like spray painted letters, and it's got an old VHS tape for all you youngins out there. Google it.
What's a VHS tape?
It's got our logo on the VHS. We got hoodies, baseball tees, long sleeve shirts.
When I started watching, it was VHS.
Yeah, same here, right? And we got some other good stuff on there too, man. I just put up a Starcade inspired shirt. This is Main Event Marks, and it's our colors. Check that out. We got a Christmas themed one, a Hanukkah themed one for all of you out there celebrating Hanukkah here in a couple of weeks, and Thanksgiving one. Gobble gobble. And
gobble.
Well, we got one for my catchphrase of the show, Greg. It's I got a Jax figure of them. And the back, it's a two-sided shirt.
I could never wear that because I have like one Jax figure.
Yeah, right. Well, I have a ton, and I'm going to get to that on YouTube here eventually, maybe as some bonus content for Christmas. But the back, I got a design on the back of that shirt or hoodie, whatever you want to get as well. It looks kind of like a jersey, and it says Jax up top and 96 down below. And that's because, little fact for all of you out there, 1996 was the first year Jax Pacific started making WWE figures. And yeah, the Hanukkah shirt is also double-sided. The back says Hanukkah 08, or 8 days of Hanukkah. Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving one says Marksgiving 1621, first year of Thanksgiving. And we got Marksmas, Merry Marksmas, man. And that says 25 for the 25 days of Christmas. So, all right. Anyway,
we keep it for everyone. Everyone gets. We like to recognize everybody.
Exactly. We're all inclusional here. Is that a word, inclusional? I'm making it a word. I think
it is a word.
Yeah, we're all including here in at the Main Event Marks. But
even Canadians, despite people making too many jokes about them.
Yeah, right. Hey, Greg likes Canada. There's that.
Greg likes hockey, so.
Yeah, right.
Don't get more Canadian than hockey, dude.
Right. Well, something else we're including this month is another Survivor Series. Next week, it is double main event week, which means a bonus show week. Yeah, next week it is on November 17th, Wednesday. We're our normal day, same bat time, same bat channel. We're dropping WWF Survivor Series 1998. And then for the bonus show next Friday,
freaking bonus,
we are going back to November 4th, 1996 for a very special anniversary. It's Raw is War. Pillman's got a gun.
Pillman's got a gun.
According to you, the show sucked. So
I mean, most Raws back then did, yeah.
Yeah, and they won a lot of ratings. I guess they didn't win in 96 a whole lot, or ever. Did they win any in 96?
I must say maybe early on. Maybe back and forth.
Yeah, because I think, didn't they not win a single rating in 97? I think WCW cleared
97 was their year of total defeat because they didn't win one until Austin McMahon after WrestleMania 14, a couple weeks after.
Yeah.
So 97 is their shutout year for sure.
Nuts to think about, man. That's nuts. But then the last show of the month, November 24th, that is the day before Thanksgiving, and we are dropping WCW Mayhem 2000. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here's this.
I mean, we like to cover crap. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. We, like I said a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, I don't know. But, we ironically cover bad stuff sometimes. This is one of them things. But this was not one of the ironically bad things we were going to cover. I just enjoyed, you and I both enjoyed TNA from around this era. So 15-year anniversary, why not? But right,
very much so.
I think this about wraps it up. I'm excited to cover Survivor Series 1998 next week. That was a good year for the WWF.
Deadly Games.
Yeah, it was the first Survivor Series that I was really present for, because I started watching the fall of 97, but I didn't really know fully what was going on in that Survivor Series 97, didn't pay attention. So by 98, November 98, I was really invested. So I didn't get to see the pay-per-view, unfortunately. I never saw pay-per-views back then, but yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this one on The Cock. I'm talking about it next week.
The second time I heard that today.
But all right, thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, everybody stick around for WWF Survivor Series 1998, The Deadly Game. And on Friday, WWF Raw, November 4th, 1996, Pillman's got a gun.